What's up, Big Ponians? I am Convoy, and welcome back to Hangar 88. Today is the final episode for the real grade 144th scale Wing Zero from Endless Waltz. We've got all of our parts assembled here, so now it's just time to get this guy put together. First, we're going to pop the upper torso into the kilt armor if we can. There we go. And we're going to take the legs, pop those into the kilt. This right here, this little piece right here. Little section, the peg holes on the legs, we're going to try to swivel down. Let's see here. Go. That'll make it easier to get our legs in here. Let's see. Nope. Forward or backward swinging on that. There we go. Back up there. Go. And for the arms, we're going to take these shoulder joints here. We're going to move them back a little bit. So that's where these guys right here are going to plug into. Right there. And then that's going to rotate back into the torso. Probably best to do. There we go. Probably best to do it like the instructions say. Pop the arms in. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah, to do it like the instructions say, to pop the arms in first. Put the shoulder armor down on top of it. Up on the head. Finally, the backpack. And there he is in all his real grade glory. Get a little bit more light shining on him here. The fully assembled real grade Wing Zero Endless Waltz version with those impressive wings going on there. To start, he's got some pretty good head articulation there. Pretty good articulation on the top joint. It is kind of loose up there, not gonna lie, but the little shoulder machine guns. Oh, there we go. Get a 360-degree rotation. If we work at it hard enough, we finagle the head around a little bit. Do I have that on all the way? I think I do. But yeah, believe we can get some. Yeah, we can get a little bit of head bocking motion there, a little bit back and forth there. Not a whole lot. I think that largely has to do with the neck armor there. We've got we've got shoulder pads that like to pop off. We've got 360-degree rotation with the wings moved out of the way. We can get 360 degrees of rotation on that shoulder joint, but not without the shoulder pad wanting to pop off. We can get them all the way up at a 90-degree swing up there. We lower it back down, we can get a 360 rotation, 360 swivel on the upper arm. The elbow bends up at almost, pop the ball, pop something out of joint there. Alrighty, back again, guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, we don't want to bend that elbow too far, otherwise these little ball sockets here, these little ball joints with our pistons on there will pop out of place. But bearing that in mind, we still get a very nice amount of a very nice bend at the elbow there, almost a 180-degree bend. Swing the arms up, we can get a little bit of hula action there, quite a bit of nice movement there all around that waist section. Very nice. Don't often get that. As you saw with the, if you watched my Master Grade X and Double X, most of that was located just at the bottom where the upper torso connects with the hips, or with the kilt section area. But here we've got some very nice articulation coming up through the whole, through that whole midsection area there. So that's pretty nice. As far as rotation, oh, there we go. Yep, getting a full 360 rotation on the waist there, which will come in handy for the, which does come in handy for the Wing Gundam version Endless Waltz. That is basically this guy, but retrograded back down to like the regular wing version. See, on the hand here, on this special articulated hand, we've got that was scary a little bit, but yeah, you get the thumb out of the way, you can get a full 360-degree rotation here. You can get a 90-degree bend at that wrist there. You rotate it and yep, he wants to pop out of socket too. It's kind of to be expected, I think, with most real grades. Again, you're getting the intricacy of a master grade at almost half the size. But yeah, so you try to bend that hand too far down, it's gonna want to pop out of socket at the wrist. Yep. But otherwise, I mean, that you can see where the little ball joint's bent there. The wrist does have a 90-degree bend in either direction. It's just the trick is getting it to stay there when you've got it up. The kilt will fly up, and you can get a 90-degree forward rotation up at the hips with the thigh there. You can get pretty good backswing out of there with the butt flap moving out of the way. The side kilts don't really swing out a whole lot, just because of the design there, so we can't get much in the way of doing side splits there, but can get a nice 360-degree swivel on that hip joint there. We bend the knee, we see, get some very nice stuff of panels sliding in and out of, sliding into or repositioning themselves, as well as that kneecap moving to reposition itself. One thing, as you're bending it back, there is this little bit inside here that you'll kind of have to get your thumb or your finger in there to push it back into place, or else it's going to keep the kneecap from going all the way back to where it's supposed to go. But yeah, you've got pretty much a 180-degree bend on the knee there. The ankle, because of the construction, because of this little flap here, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of rotation at the ankle here. Nope, not a whole lot there, especially not towards the inside. But we do get a nice little wiggle there. Get plenty good articulation with the toes there. There's the feet pointing downward. That's about as well. Yeah, without popping the piece out of socket, that's about as far down as you can bend the tippy toes. It's just a flat foot position, and then it does bend a little bit upwards. With the wings, as you may have already seen, may have already noticed, with these main arms, we get a 180-degree rotation front and back with these main arms. We've got a 360-degree rotation here. Actually, is that... Oh, no, I don't think that one is supposed to. Actually, I think, yeah, that's right. There's a little stopper on the peg inside there. Keeps it from rotating too much one way or the other. But this guy right here, though, this little elbow right up here, we've got a nice 180-degree bend and a 360. Come on. And a 360 rotation up at the top here. The smaller wings, we do get, they do get in the way of each other a little bit, moving 90 degrees inwards, but 90 degrees outwards is no problem. You get this nice extension swing right there, plus this little fan opening area right here. Very nice. See, the way you can see those inner feathers moving into place as you open that up. Definitely don't want to try to support it by its weight on those, because it does clip into there with the peg, but it's not a very strong connection. Also, forgot to show you, there is a lot of articulation on these bigger wings here, a lot more on the actual wing part itself. That'll slide, that'll flip out, this will swing out, and of course we've got plenty of wiggle room with all these pretty little feathers going on around here. This guy can almost get a 360. Oh, yeah, he can. With a little bit of finagling, yeah, you can get him swinging around 360 degrees here. This one at the very tip. We do have a little opening cockpit here. Sadly, at this scale, we're not getting any kind of pilot figure to go inside the cockpit, and that's the standard with all real grades. You know, we get an opening cockpit. Really, and at this size, it's really you can barely see inside there anyway. You can see, can't make it out on my camera, but I can see there's just a very basic looking chair in there. Not a whole lot of detail in there at all. But we also do get these machine guns mounted on the shoulder, these machine Vulcans mounted on the shoulder that flip out there. So hold him back so he gets in a bit more in focus. And then just as easily flip back down. We've got on these smaller wings here, as we saw before, the beam sabers that flip out and then pull out. And the effect part just plugs right into that handle. And we've got a couple options here with these articulated hands. Again, you do want to be careful because too much pressure in the wrong direction, and it's not a whole lot. Doesn't take a whole lot to get the polycap material on the hand to break in a very permanent fashion. But we can take the beam saber. There's this little tab on the handle here. Inside of the articulated hand is a slot for that tab. Just plugs in there. And then just wrap the fingers around, close it up with the thumb. Yeah, that slot does give you, it is angled a little bit so you can get a little wiggle room to position the beam saber a little bit differently. Although with this hand it is a little bit disappointing, mainly with, I guess it's mainly to do with the positioning of the tab there, but this hand just barely comes up, or the beam saber, the top of the beam saber itself just barely comes up over the edge of the hands there. But here we've got the other beam saber. That what we can do with that is we can take this hand right here, this item holding hand. We can pop the thumb and fingers off. Again, we've got a slot on the palm of the hand where the beam saber will tab in, and yeah, that's just that tab is just really high up on that handle there, but yeah, and then put the fingers back on. This one unfortunately doesn't give us as much wiggle room, so not as much option to position it around in the hand, but it does hold it a good bit more securely. It doesn't take, well, I guess this one, because it's got bigger tabs, it's got longer tabs than previous real grades that I've built, but usually these articulated hands don't hold items as well as these fixed ones, just because, mainly because of the shape of the palm of the hand, makes it so that to get to the actual tab where the item is held in, you have to go just a little bit deeper than on these fixed hands. But yeah, there he is. We've got the two different hand options for holding weapons and items, and again, we've got the hand options. We've got the splayed open hands right there. And let me pull this guy. With these real grade hands, you want to kind of open them up a little bit, get them as flat as you can before you get a hold of them and pop them out. For the articulation of these, for these hands, you do get a very master grade base joint for the thumb there. It does have an actual joint at that first knuckle there, and pretty much the same with the fingers too. They're attached to the hand at a ball joint, and then they've got a hinge on the first knuckle that gives you some bend. Again, just pay close attention to how far you're bending it and where the inside of the knuckles are meeting, because not a whole lot of pressure will break that off. I know I sound like a broken record with that, but in all seriousness, with my first ever real grade, I broke the thumb and index finger off pretty easily doing that. So again, it's not super delicate, but it is something that you definitely got to be careful with. forgot why I popped that out in the first place, but again, we do have also these fists that were originally plugged into the arms on the inner frame sprue there, now with the back of the hand here. Again, I mean, it doesn't look terrible with the gray fingers and stuff, but if you are going for show accuracy, you are going to have to paint these fingers white, and good luck painting these guys completely white. And with the beam sabers put back in place, let's not forget what is probably the most famous feature of the Wing Zero, the twin Buster rifles. Flip those handles out of the bottom there. Oh, wrong side. Get our nail in on that little ledge right there to flip those guys out. And again, likewise with beam sabers, we can go with either the articulated hands. Just move that thumb out so that it gets into proper position there. And then wrap the fingers around. Here we go. This is what I was talking about when real great hands don't hold the weapons quite as well as the fixed hands that come in with it. But it is kind of a fun little deal that you don't have to swap the hands out to get it in. Again, it is safer for your real great hands if you pop it into the arm before you attach the weapon in. But again, tab the thing into, tab the handle into the palm, wrap the fingers around. There we go. As long as we don't mess with it too much, he's holding it pretty well inside his hand there. Inside his real great hand, and there it goes. Already that tab fell out. But luckily we do get these fixed pose hands. We can tab it into that solid slot there. Put the fingers back on. Pop it right into the arm. There he is with his individual single buster rifles. And definitely want to go with the fixed hands for this next part, but can flip these little guys out. Don't want to get a file or something small that you can wedge in there somewhere. I guess not. Okay, there we go. Just gotta pull on that top ledge well enough. And let's see. And you might notice these fixed weapon holding hands do have a pretty wide gap in there. That is so that we can get plenty of room to hold both handles of the beam rifles in the twin buster rifle mode. Let's see, let's flip this one down. There we go. Just gotta get a good grip on it. And let's attach the hand before
power up the drum cannon.
Stick these guys together. what, let's pop the hands and the arms. I think it'll be easier if we pop the hands and the arms, yeah. Try to get these shoulders swung forward as far as we can. And then get everything, whoop. Let's see, let's wiggle one of these out. Yeah, just wiggle one of the Buster rifles out so that it's actually maybe we want to do that with both. Or not. I guess, yeah, have at least one of them tabbed in. Then have the other sitting in there kind of loosey-goosey, and even considering that, here we go. Just go ahead and slap these guys together. With the one hand being tabbed in, let's put fingers back on the other hand. And just slide that handle back in. Oh, criminy. It's already popping the fingers back off again. Let's see here. Let's try to approach this a little different. Oh boy. Yep. Get the fingers back on. Alrighty. Let's try this again. Do want to pop out of the socket there, pop out of the arm socket. Okay. Let's see if we can try the one tabbed again. Try the one tabbed and the one loosey. Yeah, I guess just like with damn near every other Wing Zero, you're just gonna have to fake it to get this position. Screw whoever's decision it was to take this, to like come up with this weapon in this pose and make it so daggum iconic in the show, because it's nearly impossible to get it on any of the models, to get it to go just right. Anyways, there we go. There's as much as I'm gonna try to get going on this guy. But yeah, we've got that with the wings all splayed out. And there, yeah, just gonna have to try to fake it till you make it. But yep, there he is with all that stuff. There he is in that iconic twin Buster rifle pose. Alright, and one of the much more easily achieved iconic poses of the Wing Zero. What we're gonna do is we're just going to put the feet straight down. We're going to put the arms straight down, put everything straight down. Again, much more easily accomplished than the twin Buster Rifle pose. We are going to turn or swivel the arms so that the arm guards are facing front. And then we are going to swing these guys. We're going to swing the bigger wing parts down. Actually, no, first, pay attention. I'm sorry, I'm still a bit frazzled from trying to get that daggum twin Buster Rifle pose. But, okay. Let's see. Okay. Shoulder pads slide out a bit before swinging down over the upper arms. And then the arms for the bigger wings swing down. Upper elbow can swing forward to bring this up with the wing fully closed and these inner feathers turned outward. One other thing, this was actually unique to the real grade, but we do want to see if I can figure out exactly what it's trying to get me to do here. So we want to bend that and get rage quit. Okay, come on. What is this supposed to be doing here? Okay. On the bottom of the knee joint, the leg bends forward just a little bit, hyperextends just a little bit, so that that knee cap is slightly out of position. And point the toes down. Put that little front ankle flap down. Now we are ready. Finally, pretty sure this time. Yeah. To swing the big wings down in front. Down together, and they don't quite fit together as well as other Wing Zeros I've seen. And there's no real tabs or anything to hold them together, so you just kind of gotta okay. So yeah, there's crap. Okay, fell off, just went flying. That's all it was. But yeah, there's no way that these main wings like tab or plug into each other, which is kind of crummy for trying to get this pose. But anyways, once you've got that headache out of the way, oh, I love this hobby so much. Swing these lesser wings all the way in at that elbow, and then just swing them out. As far forward as you can. And there is that position. Again, you've got to hold, you have to hold those front wings closed. They don't, like, yeah, you let them go and they drift apart, and that looks not quite so great. And again, like these feathery bits in the middle here, they're not flat to where they, you know, they rest up well against each other, like I've seen with other like we've seen with other Wing Zero kits. So, but yeah, there that is. And despite it being so top heavy in the back, the Endless Waltz Wing Zero actually does a pretty good job of standing up on its own, but that is mostly due to the fact that those smaller wings, quote-unquote smaller wings, are so dang long, they touch to the ground and make a pretty good support for having it stand up on its own. But if you'd rather have it in some aerial poses, which I'm sure most of you will, we do also have this little block piece. This is pretty interesting. I haven't seen this with a real grade before, but this piece in particular, most of them, they're just, you know, look just exactly like this, except this, on this one, I have not seen this little peg hole here before. But on most of them, on most regular ones, hold on just a moment. On most regular ones, it's just that little block section. Basically, it's the same thing as this, but without this little section with the peg hole. That little square hole here, it just connects directly on to an action base, and then of course that clips onto the taint area, or in the Wing Zero's case, we also have this little area on the backpack that he can clip onto. And just on a regular action base 2, with that attachment attached to the backpack, it doesn't really get a whole lot more, doesn't really get his feet very far up off the ground. But, and if we clip it on in the traditional real grade sense, it does get a bit higher off of the ground after we plug this wing back on. Jiminy Christmas. I'm starting to think there wasn't anything wrong with that Gurren Lagann kit. It's just me for some reason. Everything wants to fall apart as soon as I touch it. Ugh. But anyways, you know, clipping it into his to his taint there will definitely give you a higher pose on the action base 2. But again, that little block piece does have that peg hole on the back, so it is very much compatible with an action base 1 type. Already he's got some significant air time there, some significant hang time there. But again, that's at the fully retracted adjustment on this guy. But with that arm fully extended, you're going to have your real grade Wing Zero soaring high above all your other 144th kits. Tried to give you guys a blacklight shot with this guy, but sadly, even those green beam sabers, the blacklight wouldn't catch unless you just got really up in its face with it. As for final thoughts on this guy, really not a whole lot that can be said particularly about the Wing Zero that can't be said about other real grades. A little bit disappointing that we couldn't catch anything with the blacklight. It is kind of disappointing. Again, standard with real grades, it's a disappointment really that we get, you know, opening cockpits and stuff. But again, I mean, you can't really complain too much just because of how small it is, you know, how small the scale is and everything. But you know, you get an opening cockpit, but no pilot figure to go inside. Although we do, at the very least, get a nice little in-scale standing figure to go along with him. But yeah, I mean, again, just because of, you know, you guys saw me having a lot of trouble with them, but that is pretty standard of a real great kit. And just to give you an idea, I don't have a master grade Wing Zero handy, but we do got this 1/100 scale high grade from back in the 90s, when back in the mid 90s, whenever Wing was actually airing in Japan. But that's the same scale. Like that is the exact same size that the master grade would be, with maybe some different proportions. But just to give you an idea, you know, they're taking all the intricacy of a master grade, which is this big, and cramming it down into almost half the size. But I mean, as far as real grades go, it is a good kit. A lot of extra intricacy with the wings there, so that's a bit of a pain right there. It is a little disappointing that the wings don't mesh together quite so well for the. Let me sit up here. Get this light out of the way. But it is a little disappointing that the wings don't mesh together as well for the closed wing mode. Yeah, it's a little disappointing. The beam sabers, again, the tab on the beam sabers is just a little weird. It feels a little bit high, but you know, like the tab is a little bit high on the beam saber, so the beam saber doesn't come up very high in the hand, and it's to the point where, you know, wouldn't take that big of a screw up in order to, you know, wouldn't take you losing that much of a grip on the beam saber to mess your hand up. But it is a little bit disappointing that that the clear parts don't come in color. It is understandable considering, considering the zero system lens on the front of the Mohawk is meant to be a different color from the other lenses and stuff, and all the other clear stuff on the head. And it is also a bit of a surprise that we don't get a clear piece for the scopes on the Buster rifles. I don't know, that just seems like it wouldn't be that hard to do. Speaking of the Buster rifles, it is pretty hard to get them together in that, you know, in that double Buster rifle pose that you know, we see in the OVA at the end. But then again, it's that with the Wing Zero, that is, again, that's a pretty standard thing. That, you know, it's a real pain in the butt. I have yet. These are all the Wing Zero kits that I personally have handled, and I have yet to handle a Wing Zero kit where getting the Buster rifles in the twin Buster rifle mode wasn't an absolute pain in the butt. Particularly getting the hands to hold the handles right, without like trying to fake it, or just have one kind of like sitting close but not quite holding it. Again, really, there's nothing that can be. There's really not a whole lot that can be said, good or bad, about this kit that, you know, can't be said about other real grade kits or other Wing Zero custom kits. if you like, if you like real grade, and you like Wing Zero, I would recommend it. If you're not terribly familiar with real grades, I mean, they look good. You can get some great action poses with them, but they're one of those ones that you want to, you don't want to play with it too much. Those are the ones that you really want to, put it together, get it in the pose you like, put it on the shelf, and then probably don't ever touch it again. But again, it's a good kit. It's a fun build. Most of my build troubles just came from, trying to figure out my process and recording it. But if you're just building it for funsies, then yeah, it's a good fun build. I would definitely recommend it, and I think it's a good kit. And that is all the time we got for this episode, guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, beat that like button like it owes you money. Kick the annotation for more videos that I've done, and smack that subscribe button to stay tuned for more videos coming up. Thanks again, you guys, and I will see you in the next video.